Hello everyone, Ron here from L.T.L Tutoring Central. And this week is step 4 in our Steps to Success, steps to help you improve your learning and studying abilities. And this week I'm talking about scheduling. Now normally I introduce scheduling much earlier, near the beginning, but I wanted to give you some practice right away so that you felt you were getting somewhere. So we had you making that commitment, reading with intent, asking yourself questions, and then answering those questions and taking notes. So you're really into sort of the meat of studying. You're actually practicing. But scheduling is very important. It's another step that a lot of students sort of skip over or ignore. They think it will happen more or less organically. I'll kind of know when I should be studying or doing my work, or the teacher will tell me what to do. A lot of students just wait for that to happen, or they wait for a test or exam and I'll just study just before the test and exam and everything will be great. Well, you might do okay. It depends on what kind of student you are, but you will not do your best. So if you have 90%, you could have had 95, maybe 100. That's what I try to encourage students to think about. I'm okay, I'm doing okay, I'm passing, I'm getting A's, I'm getting B's, I'm happy with that. That's fine. If you're totally happy with that, no problem. But if you want to improve, if you want to have more success, then these are the steps that you should try to follow, and I think you're going to see an improvement over time. It does take some time. Now, scheduling, I'm talking about scheduling for study specific. So you can learn at any time, obviously. You can learn throughout the day, you can read a chapter here or there, and that's fine. But you should also have a set time where you're going to sit down every day or every evening and study. Do all the steps that we're talking about, still some to come, but you will be reading, you will be asking questions, you'll be answering questions, you'll be taking notes, you'll be reviewing, you'll be practicing certain things. It all depends, of course, on what courses you're taking or what lessons you're trying to learn. It will depend on your grade level as well, and your age level, of course. If you're a young student, if you're a parent watching this for your children, they won't do the same amount or the same length of time as a high school or a university, college, or adult learner might for two reasons. One is, if you're in grade school or high school, you're in school most of the day, and in grade school you probably have half an hour to an hour's worth of homework 4 or 5 days a week. In high school, the recommendation is an hour and a half to 2. That brings you up to 7 or 8 hours a day, by the way. Usually you're 6 hours in school, but 4 or 5 times a week. But if you're in college or university or an adult learner, or you're learning for your own personal development, then you may spend more time, actually, because you're not spending that amount of time in the classroom. So you have to determine what amount of time you require. The important point is to set aside enough time for you to read the material or listen to the material, depending on what you're learning, absorb the material, review it, and practice it. All of these steps do take time. If you rush through everything, you're not going to learn nearly as much. You do need to take your time, and you do need repetition. So having a set time each day when you know you will be sitting down and you know you will be specifically studying, you'll be doing the various steps that we're talking about, it gets your mind ready for it. And it also takes away some of that pain point. Oh, I have to do something about this. I have to do, and you're thinking about it all the time. No, I know tonight, or whatever your time is, I'm going to sit down and do this. And once you get into the practice of it, it becomes a habit, a good habit, and it takes away some of the struggle. And of course, the more you learn, the more interested you get in something, you actually will enjoy reviewing it and going over it and reminding yourself, because you'll get that positive feeling that I'm learning more, I'm remembering more, I'm making more connections. So whether you use a paper calendar or calendar on your cell phone or computer, or any kind of a student planner, it doesn't really matter, but you do need to write it down, and you do need to track, especially at the beginning, to make sure that you are committing to that time frame. So if it's 7 to 9, Monday through Friday, that you're going to sit down and do your studying, you need to write that down in your planner, then check it off, make sure that you're actually committing and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing during that time, not texting or chatting on the phone or doing something extraneous to studying. That this is actually your study time. Now, if you fall off the wagon, so to speak, if you lose a day, you can always make it up on a Saturday, perhaps, or Sunday, or you can just get back on track the next week. If your schedule isn't working at all, you need to reassess. You need to sit down and say, okay, this is not happening. What can I do to make it happen? Because you want to make sure that you set up a schedule you can actually follow. And you might make a mistake the first couple of times. Don't forget to put into your schedule, when are your hobbies? Are there meetings for that? Are there other commitments throughout the week that you usually have to do? And you need to schedule around that. There's no sense scheduling a time frame that you will consistently be missing. So make sure that you set it up in a way that makes sense. You have to include your exercise, your hobbies, your dinner time. All of these things have to be considered, and it has to be reasonable. Otherwise, you won't stick to it, and then everything just starts to crumble away. So try scheduling. I know it sounds kind of boring or pedantic, but try scheduling and try sticking to it. It's amazing what a consistent approach can do to help you learn the material, remember the material especially, and then move forward by networking and connecting to new material as well. Because your mind, even your body to some extent, is set and prepared to learn every day at that time. And then the rest of the day, as you're learning other things or doing other things, you absorb that material, and you maybe once in a while you're thinking about it while you're jogging or while you're taking care of the children or whatever, but you're absorbing it and you're gaining more sort of throughout the day. But you know you have that scheduled time. So try doing a schedule. That's your job for this week. Still, of course, doing all the other, committing yourself to learning, reading with intent, asking questions, taking notes. These things are happening during your study time, and now you know exactly when you're going to do that. Oh, I talk too much sometimes, but I really want you to do well. Get back to me. Let me know how it's going. The website is working as far as I know now. There were some issues with that which I was not aware of, but as far as I know, everything's up and running properly, so you should be able to leave comments there. If you're watching on YouTube, you can leave comments below as well, and you can of course email me at any time if you would like to set up some programs for yourself or your child. Let me know, of course. Get in touch, and we'll have a free information meeting either online or in person if you're in the local area, and we'll go from there. We'll set up some programs to help you. My name is Ron Johnson for L.T.L. Tutoring Central. Get your schedule set up. Keep practicing the 3 steps we've talked about previously, and I will see you again next week. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.